a lot of people look at government and they really don't see the faces and the people. The most important resource that government has, the people that are involved in making things happen, from engineering and managing hurricanes to, not the hurricanes themselves, but the process behind it. And just to more subtle things like transportation, mosquito control, whatever it may be. They live with us. They raise their kids with us. They send them to schools with us. But people in government here, particularly in Polk County government, are really amazing. Some amazing folks that we have an opportunity to work with day in, day out, and you really see the talent. PGTV. I mean, this is as good as any network production that you will see. It's just that talented, and the equipment and so on, second to none. With all of that said, we want to give you a little insight into the man, the myth, the legend, who actually orchestrates more than 2,000 people into a team that produces results for Polk County and the citizens of Polk County, make it a better place to live, better place to play, and a better place to work. It all takes a team. That gentleman, 26 years refereeing in high school athletics, primarily football and basketball. His name, County Manager, Mr. Bill Beasley. Bill, welcome to the show. And you're celebrating something that very few have the opportunity to celebrate. And that is giving back to society, to the community, in the form of refereeing, which high school basketball, you gave that up a little while ago, but football still. And it's a thankless job, but it is so critical. And you just have to listen to the parents in the stands screaming and yelling and all of this type of stuff. I don't think I would want to take any of that abuse, but the fact of the matter is somebody has to do it. And for 26 years, you've done a pretty darn good job.
Yeah. Look, I really appreciate y'all having me on the show today. I mean, it has been over a quarter of a century. And I started I had 9 years in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've got now, this is my 17th season in Florida, specifically in Polk County. And you'd be amazed at the people that I've encountered, the good, the bad, and the ugly side of it. But I tell you, I wouldn't change it for the world, guys. It has been, some of my friends have passed that I started officiating with. And it's just, there comes a point in time where I'm ready to step back and say, I've done enough. It's not what it used to be. You alluded to, sometimes the players' attitudes seem to have changed, the coaches' attitudes change, the fans' attitudes change, the parents' attitudes change. It is a different dynamic now. But I'll tell you, but everything at the high school sports level revolves around officiating. And in all sports, I'll tell you, across the state of Florida, and it's a national issue, not just a local or state issue, the number of officials is waning. There's not many people wanting to get into high school officiating. And this is my 26th season. And I've been blessed with the games I've worked. I've worked state championship in football, state championships in basketball, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Well, one of the things, we want to get a little deeper into that in a few minutes.
Sure.
But for right now, we have a little surprise. There have been some folks that assisted us in this
ambush.
So I'm going to take ourselves off the hook, including your wife. But we've got a little surprise for you. Check this out, everybody.
Oh,
and we'll be back with Bill Beasley in just a second.
Oh, no.
Right over in the monitor. Hey, Bill. Nate Boudreau here. I heard you were retiring from officiating and just wanted to let you know that we appreciate everything you did on the football field as well as the basketball court in Central Florida. And I also want to thank you personally for what you did for me. When I moved to Florida, didn't really know anybody in the officiating community, joined the association, and you took me in with open arms. I was on your football crew for a couple of years. Definitely enjoyed the car rides to and from, the adult beverages after, and everything in between. So I want to thank you for all your service to the officiating community and wish you the best of luck.
Well, a special tribute to our first guest, Bill Beasley, and the two people responsible, partners in crime, Tabitha Alpers and Bill's wife, Cynthia, who is as beautiful outside or inside as she is on the outside. It was done in very short time.
I was going to say.
But we had to do it secretly, and I swore them to secrecy, and they did a good job. So that was a wonderful tribute. And Bill, the community, Nate had mentioned the service to the referees and community in general is what I think is most important. And we see that waning in more recent times that, so many people, it's about themselves. Well, life isn't about you. It's about everybody else. 2 commands.
Yeah.
Love God, love your fellow man. That's it. So just remember it. Obviously, you've done a good job with both. You're originally from Norfolk, Virginia. Mm-hmm. And one of the things, I'm going to get to this right away because I didn't know this. You were a wrestler in high school.
That helped pay my way through college.
And went to Penn State, and wrestled there. It was, I don't know what your record was in '74. Was it 13-1? Did I get that right? 16-1?
Sounds right.
13-1 in 1976. There it is. I have my cheat sheet here. But also wrestled at Lycoming College. Where is that in Pennsylvania? Williamsport,
Pennsylvania.
Okay. We're going to dock Jack a day's pay for that mistype.
I started in Williamsport at Lycoming College and then transferred to Penn State University.
Okay. Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. That helped me.
I never, big time. And talk about perseverance. It's tough, aerobically brutal, physically brutal. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy it when you were wrestling?
Look, I was blessed. I won a state championship in Virginia, and that helped pay my way with some scholarships and some grants and aid. But when you get to the major college level, there's 10 of them look just like you, feel just like you. They're all as good, and so it was a major competitive issue. But I majored in engineering, and I didn't have the time that somebody majoring in something else. So I had labs and other extended classes. So I knew academically I had to compromise somewhere, and it was on the athletic side that I pulled back more and more away from that. Freshman, sophomore year, very active, but junior, senior years, you accepted the fact that it was more academically driven than athletically driven.
Well, the reason I say that is because I wrestled in high school, and then a little bit similar. I was never as good as you were. I never won a state title or any of that stuff. But that is when I saw that, because I didn't know it, I'm going, God, talk about getting your face pushed in the mat. That's a tough one.
So you've reached the end of your officiating career. Next week is the last game.
Last week of the regular season, I chose not to do playoff games.
Okay. Looking back, highlights?
Oh my goodness! You'd be amazed at the number of times I had to go toe-to-toe with Bill Castle over a call that he didn't like. Lake Wales, for example, last year they won their first state championship game. Be amazed at the times I've had to go toe-to-toe with the Lake Wales coach about calls they agreed with or didn't agree with. What I would say is that the dynamics have changed. There are fewer people wanting to get into officiating, and there's still a need for officiating. It's to the point where we're having to ask school systems to move their Friday night games to Thursday and Saturday because we don't have enough officials. There's not enough officials in Central Florida. It's really across the state to cover every game on a Friday night. So some teams have to sacrifice and decide to play on Thursday nights or Saturday nights because there's not enough officials. And it's just something that a younger generation of officials don't want to get into. But the highs and the lows, I was one of, about 9 years ago, I broke my leg. I got rolled over in the sideline and broke my leg. I was one of only 3 officials in the state of Florida who were injured with that kind of severity. And I don't know what's a badge of honor or a badge of failure or something. I'm not sure, but I know I wouldn't change that. Highs and lows, a lot of friendship, a lot of fellowship, a lot of good people, a lot of exciting games, and some very boring games when you find teams that just aren't compatible. And but to them young men, it means everything in the world. to be able to play on a football Friday night and on a basketball. You're right, Mark, I don't do basketball like I did back in 2019 when I took this position. I really didn't have 2 or 3 nights a week during the week that I could commit to basketball. I can commit to a Thursday or a Friday night in high school football. So,
Well,
but
one of the things
I wouldn't change anything. Good people, good places, good friends, a lifetime of memories.
Well, one of the things that, I guess I'm going to paraphrase, but you're big on work-life balance.
Yes.
And I think that what you just said sort of supports that. But you sort of have a motto: be committed to the job, but not consumed
By the job.
By the job. I talk about that a lot as well. But you live it, and you emphasize that with county staff that you have a life outside of work. You've got to live that life. And officiating, I'm not sure, a lot of people decompress by sitting watching TV, or they may go out skiing, or they may do something. You go referee, and that can be as stressful as your job sometimes.
The fans can be brutal. Let me put it in perspective. Next year will be my 18th year here. My family, my children, they were in high school when I moved here. They've been through college, they're married, we have grandchildren. All of that whole work-life balance thing, I've been here 17 years now, and it seems like it was just yesterday I got here, 17 years later.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. There's nobody that I know in the county organization that is looking forward to 2027, which is potential, quote unquote, potential retirement. And you rarely see that in the county. And I've been here 31 years, something like that.
Yeah,
All the county. I haven't
2027 is not potential. It's going to happen, Mark.
All right. Well,
I don't have
We'll see.
I don't have enough gas in my tank.
Yeah. Well, and it wears on you. It's just one of those things. That the officiating thing, and primarily why we're here today, is it's disappointing to hear that this having problems finding referees. And it's like you're a babysitter. And you're settling disputes between whatever, situation, but you've done it for 26 years. How does that make you feel?
I started as a young official in North Carolina. I had senior mentors that helped show me the way. And I would just say that I make mistakes every Friday night. There's a small piece of my game that I make a mistake on, but the only people who really know about it are me and the other crew members. A small issue. We don't make big mistakes because I'm a senior enough person to not make big mistakes. But I would just say that you mature as a sports official. Florida works as a team concept. It's the same crew that goes out every week. They don't break us up. And I've gotten to know the people that I work with, and I've been blessed to have some people on my crew that have taught me well, and I've mentored to the newer ones in our organization. I wouldn't change a thing. It has been a part of my life, and I've been blessed that I've had a lot of support from the local official, the elected leaders in Polk County. My wife has been extremely supportive, especially that night I broke my leg, and she had to help me through rehab for 6 months. I mean, it was amazing. But everybody has been supportive, and I've given back what they have given to me.
Well, I think it boils down to one statement, which I know you're familiar with, and it is this: is that in your career as the official and all of that, well done, good and faithful servant. And
That's
those ramifications have
run a good race.
That's right. Perfect. Well, everybody, Bill, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it, and I really have to say congratulations on 26 years. I didn't know that, and I don't know a lot of things, but that's the way it is. If you enjoyed this interview and want to watch more Sports Central, click the video below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.